story brings us to OAKLAWN Cemetery in Tulsa, where crews have uncovered 4 more burials. It's another development in a years-long investigation to discover where victims of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre may have been buried. 2 News Oklahoma's Jeanette Quesada joins us now with the latest on this investigation. And Jeanette, you spoke to a descendant about these developments.
I did, Karen, and that descendant is also on the oversight committee for this investigation. She says she learned about today's discovery, which includes 2 child-sized burials, through a press release. This is just the initial stage of the second excavation, and crews have already found more graves, 21 total, than they found during the first excavation in 2020.
Tuesday, the city of Tulsa announced new developments in the search for potential mass graves for the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Excavation crews uncovered 4 new burials at OAKLAWN Cemetery.
Today, they found 2 more adult-sized burials and 2 children burials.
This on top of the 17 others discovered last week and 19 other burials found in the first excavation, which began in 2020. Christy Williams is a member of the committee overseeing the 1921 graves investigation. Williams says the investigation is about bringing justice to her ancestors.
My aunt Janie Edwards, she was in a Dreamland Theater when the massacre happened.
Williams says the oversight committee was formed to build trust and transparency between the descendants and the city. But Williams says over time, that communication has weakened.
I'm a descendant, so I'm on this oversight committee. So I got an email of the updates, but I can't even ask questions. But more importantly, there are other descendants, other community members who are not getting this information. There are no public meetings for them to ask questions.
Meanwhile, the city says excavation crews are expected to continue excavation work in the South Trench. They say once they reach a stopping point, they will begin a hand excavation process. They say this will involve using finer tools to get down to the coffin and remains themselves. Researchers won't know for many months if those burials are in fact victims of the race massacre. The city says it could take up to a year to determine.
I made an oath to my ancestors. I made an oath to those remains in that ground that I would keep beating the drum for justice for them. And that's what I intend to do.
And the city says this second excavation is expected to continue through November 18th. Live in studio, Jeanette Quesada, 2 News Oklahoma.
Officials say they found remains of at least 10 people in unmarked graves while searching for people that have died from the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. It's a dark time in our nation's history. In 1921, a large group of people stormed an African-American neighborhood. They destroyed homes, killed an estimated 300 people, hurting 800 more. The city's mayor ordered an evacuation at the cemetery about 2 years ago. This search, which began on Monday, is the second this year, and the first was unsuccessful. Archaeologists say they need to try and review those bodies before fully confirming. That's going to take a little bit of time to do that, though.
Our top story here at 6 o'clock, archaeologists discovered 17 unmarked burials at OAKLAWN Cemetery in their search for possible victims of the 1921 Tulsa Race Massacre. Thanks for joining us. I'm Craig Day.
And I'm Lori Fulbright. Archaeologists are not calling this a mass grave. News on 6's Amy Slanchik is live with an update on their investigation. Amy?
Lori and Craig, at the beginning of this latest excavation, archaeologists said they wanted to search to the west and to the south of where they were last summer. Now they're finding burials in both of those areas. The city of Tulsa waited until today to reveal archaeologists found a total of 17 burials over the weekend. State archaeologist Dr. Carrie Stackelbeck says they were found in 2 different areas. She says 12 adult burials were found to the west of where Reuben Everett and Eddie Lockhart's headstones are located. Those are 2 known massacre victims, but archaeologists have always said they aren't sure if the 2 are in fact buried there. Scientists also revisited the area where they say one man with multiple gunshot wounds was found found last summer and started to expand their search south of that. On Saturday, that effort proved to be profitable to the team.
Within that trench, we've now exposed an additional 5 graves that are adult size as well.
The team from Stantec Incorporated, formerly known as Cardno, is back to help with the investigation. From the fence at the cemetery, they could be seen sifting with their equipment today. From the air, Osage Sky News 6 shows several archaeologists in the pit that is west of Reuben and Eddie's headstones. Stackelbeck says going forward, a lot of work will be done by hand.
To clean up those coffins and so that we can get a better sense of each one of those graves in order to get a sense of the construction style, the shape, whether or not there's any kind of hardware that's present.
And that work done by hand will help scientists determine which burials to remove and which they might leave in place. Live work done by hand will help scientists determine which burials to remove and which they might leave in place. Live in Tulsa, Amy Slanchik, Oklahoma's Own, News on 6.